that Witcher 3 OST. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to Creative Writing. Welcome back to Fantasy Fiction Fridays, day 18, as we recommence our fantasy fiction stuff. What's going on, everyone? I am curious about the volume because I'm coming to you from an undisclosed Starbucks. So I have Tina Turner blasting behind me while I have the Witcher 3 OST on. So how loud am I compared to the music, would you people say? Can people hear me okay? Well, not well. There are no hipster lobsters in a mainstream. Interesting. I have to think about that, Tobik. So yes, so how is my sound vis-a-vis the sound everywhere else? Can people hear me okay? Good, bad, and different? Hey, 10. Right now you can hear What's Love Got to Do with It. You can understand me fine? Okay, good. That is good. Alright, well, so welcome everybody. We've got some writing up here, and I am looking forward to today. Schedule-wise, I've got this going on now, and then tonight at 8:30, I believe, we've got more Esper Genesis coming back to you. It should be a good time. And then tomorrow, I've got The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD coming your way, so it should be a fun couple of days. You guys know the way to support the stream. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. Check out the YouTube with !arftube, Discord, !arfcord. Check out the Twitter, !arftweets. Please retweet this stream with !tweet. There you go, Tobik. And then financially check out the shop, !arfshop. I know it's like right behind me. Earlier today, 10, they were playing, they were doing the I just died in your arms tonight. It was like all 80s all the time. I was like, oh my god, I'm back in high school. Anyway, but !Arv Treon is the Patreon, which is at $2.92. We really want to get that north of 300 and on from there. We already mentioned !Arfshop, and that sub button. We are sitting at about 46 subs right now, so we want to get to that 50 plus subs. So let's keep it up if we can, and please jump on board with that. Oh, and now I'm going to be quiet for a minute so we can listen to the best part of the Witcher 3 OST. Here we go. The best. I absolutely love this part of the soundtrack. That part where it's like there's nothing, it is the ultimate example in heroic, when it's just like, you know, absolutely love it. So anyway, that's the deal with that. So let me get rid of this and this, and whoop, there we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the undisclosed Starbucks. So the deal with this, you can't decide if you want to play Witcher. Witcher 3 is a great game. I'm going back to Witcher 3 very soon, actually, as soon as we finish Deus Ex Human Revolution. It's a great game, 10. It's got a very rich story. I think they did a good job at balancing a lot of things. The gameplay is really refined. I was very impressed with Witcher. The only reason I stopped is that I played 75 hours, and Thorg was like, okay, you're halfway through. And that wasn't even counting DLCs, and I'm like, I can't play like 200 hours of one game only, man. I'll be doing this till 2040. So I needed to take a break. So it's an undisclosed, it's a witness protection Starbucks, so to speak. Yes, it's actually a similar Starbucks to one I often go to on Fridays when my daughter's at school. And I'm sitting in the same row of seats, just a little bit farther back. So I'm going to be playing, I'm going to be doing some writing today. And where we stand with that is I'm working on my middle grade novel, Winnie and Wormwood. It is almost done. I have an interlude chapter to do. And then after the interlude chapter is finished, I have a little interlude section which I'm going to work on today. And then I have the final chapter and then the epilogue. So I'm closing in on being done. We're sitting at about 52,000 words. Then I have to go through and revise the manuscript, then send it off to beta readers, have it revised again, and then basically query it. So I want to get this done by the end of September, and then start querying it by basically early November. And the reason that I want to be done with it and get it off my plate is, number one, I want to get that done before papers get started, start coming in. And secondly, I want to do it because I want to be ready to pivot to whatever I need to do, whether it's relating to the next couple of books of the Icarus series, whether it's working on stuff for the project I can't talk about yet, actually 2 projects I can't talk about yet, whether it's working on a short story or something else. I do not want any writing projects on my plate, because I know that I'm going to have to do some work in something. So I want to get this thing done and finished first. Hey, Paxi. So yeah, so that's what we're working on, and we're going to see. It's a tough call. You know, I don't think The Witcher 3 is really sexist. I think that there are sexist aspects in the world, but I don't think that those aspects are really rendered. There's a lot of challenge to them within the tale. You know, like for example, Geralt sexes up everybody. He just does. Like, he does this all the time. But the explanation as his character, I think, is pretty nuanced. And the characters around him are arguably as or more powerful than he is. Like Triss, Yennefer, there's another one who I never forget, who I always forget, are always a big deal. Plus Ciri, who is basically kind of his adopted daughter, sort of, is also very strong. There's a lot of strong women that I think are portrayed not they're portrayed in a very nuanced way. So there are sexist elements, but there's sexist elements that are part of the culture, which I think get critiqued even within the game itself. So I think it's pretty good as far as that's concerned. Again, it's not perfect, but I thought quite a bit about that. I have a lot more issues with sort of the position that, say, the Kingdom Come Deliverance developers took about that game than I do about this game. You know, like, I think this game is it's just a lot more polished in terms of how it handles those issues. So those are my thoughts, but obviously I respect anyone's decision. What is this seal on?
I agree. But what I'm saying is that is definitely
Literally, as I'm talking about this, they're playing the song Girls, Girls, Girls behind me. Can't make it up. Must be a full moon on a Friday the 13th. Did you all know that Friday the 13th with a full moon is not going to be back with us until 2049? So it'll be another 30 years before we have a full moon on a Friday, the 13th. So it seemed to me like a good time to get this thing back up and started. So let's fire it up. Let's get back into the writing. Yeah, again, 10, I don't want to say that there's none of it there. I would not say that at all. But I just think it's a pretty... Whenever I ran into sections where I was kind of like there was an aspect of that being shown, I felt like it's almost immediately challenged by characters within the narrative, was my sense of it. So, for what that is. Okay, right. So now, let's switch over like that. Ah. Okay. All right. Bump up your rituals. Exactly, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go through this. Now, one thing I want to point out is because of the way I didn't bring my external monitor. Basically, this is just the laptop part of ArtBox 2.0 because it's just me doing the window, so there's not a lot of extra. I don't need to bring my Thunderbolt dock and all this other stuff. So, what that means is that I'm using display capture, and I really wish, in fact, if anyone can ever tell me if they know how to capture the Microsoft Windows 2010 window, I would really be helpful because I have to use display capture and it's a pain in the ass. So, but I'm using display capture for now. So if you go over like this, you can actually see like Streamception, right? Which is obnoxious. Okay. So, but anyway, like if someone's talking to me, I will be able to look over and see part of the chat, but I'll have to basically alt-tab to it a couple times to respond to it. So just be aware I'll be doing that as I go through. Otherwise, if you've never been to one of these things, feel free to jump in with questions if you have them as I write, or whatever, and I will contribute to the discussion when appropriate. But otherwise, I'm going to get some writing done. So I am using OBS Studio. What's up, Kilobyte? Yes, I am using OBS Studio. It just doesn't capture Microsoft Windows, and there may be something about like hardware, like acceleration in Windows or something. I managed to get it so that it can now capture window capture in like Zoom and things like that, and in Discord and stuff. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't capture the other one. So. So again, this is the interlude before the final chapter. I should warn everybody that there are quite obviously spoilers for the latter portion of the book that I'm writing. But in fairness, this is a manuscript. It's going to be revised, and then it'll take a while before it gets published. So my guess is you're not going to remember these spoilers when we actually get there. So, I'm just letting you know. Yeah, well, I mean, I can kind of overlay the chat. I kind of overlay the chat with other ways too, if I had to. I mean, I can more or less see it, honestly. And this is actually the first time that I'm doing a stream of a creative writing stream since I got my progressives, and that might help a little bit also. So, can you believe that I'm listening to the Witcher 3 OST on the computer, and in the background, can you guys hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, Def Leppard, and Pour Some Sugar on Me. I really am back in high school. Like, God. I know, that's why I gotta keep my mic muted in between. Alright, so I'm going back to check out the previous interlude, which is with the same group of people. And so I know what I did in that interlude to set me up for the interlude I'm about to write. This is my middle grade novel manuscript, Kilobyte, which I'm almost done with. I have to write an interlude, and then I have to write the final climactic chapter, and then the epilogue. And I'm trying to get it cleared off my plate in the next 2 to 3 weeks, basically by the end of September, early October, because that's when papers will start coming in, and that way I will have my table clear to handle any new writing projects that come in relating to Icarus stuff, a couple of other projects I can't talk about. So I want to get this middle grade manuscript done, into revision, and then start querying it. So I'm close. I think you can see it's almost, actually you can't see that, it's almost 52,000 words. So the title is Winnie and Wormwood. I actually kind of had that title first. It's one of those cases where I happen to work with the title outwards, which has not always been the case. Thank you, Ballsteg. What's up? Yeah, I'm really excited about this middle grade novel. My daughter, Little Arv, has been the sort of primary beta reader audience, alpha reader, I guess, as I've been reading it, and she's been super helpful. I'm basically writing it for her age group, and a little bit older, but it's so I've been really enjoying it, and I'm excited about it. I hope that it finds its audience, basically. So, and no, I'm not finished with it yet. I'm getting there. I mean, 207 pages in manuscript, almost 52,000 words. It's going to end up being probably a little over 60,000, 61,000 which for sort of high middle grade is about right. So maybe a little, it maybe even a little much for high middle grade. Not too much though. It's around there. It's gonna be the next Harry Potter. God, man, from your lips to the publisher's ears. Let me tell you. This is, at the moment I think of this more as a standalone book than a series, although I could see one other book that would have more on this probably, but it would definitely be a book that followed this up would probably be more YA than middle grade, I would think. But Did I get it right, 10? I was just taking your suggestion, you know. Close but no. What do you mean? What do you mean, Ballstick? Styles, not loose formatting. Are you talking about this from a print layout point of view? Is that what you mean? Yeah, so I tend to, you know, for every chapter title or whatever, I usually just I center it, and then I highlight. I put it in bold. You know, because like I do it the same way every time. I think basically what I'm saying is I don't think I'm using styles. I think I'm probably doing what you would define as loose formatting. I apologize unreservedly. Do I? To keep it consistent? Yeah. I mean, all I'm really doing though is just I mean, really all I do is just I have the page number breakdowns like this, and I may sometimes separate it by parts, but otherwise I just do, you know, like the heading title, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, interlude, centered in bold. And that's it. Like I don't do anything else, basically. Unusual, maybe. Okay, they've now moved on to Billie Jean here. Yeah, it really is. But you know what, Ballstick? I'm beginning to feel like I'm like so completely like I'm completely clueless about any of this. What I don't think I use. It did to loop back to Toto. I don't even know that I know what you mean. Like, because basically I'm just if I have particular words that I need to italicize, I just highlight them and hit italics. I should not be doing that. I mean, I don't really do it that much, honestly. Like, I just on occasion. I don't use underlines. I mean, I keep it consistent, let's put it that way. I use bold for chapter titles, and I use italics for special emphasis words, I guess, or unusual words, language words that would not sort of fit traditional English words, essentially. Sorry, I just realized I had this messed up, so give me 1 second. Yes, I am. Little Billie Jean. Oh my god, listen. Dude looks like a lady. Really? Yeah, understandable. Just it's just so classic again, but it's just so 80s though. Like I'm waiting to hear like Duran Duran. You know, where's the Duran Duran at? Oh, I saw him trending on Twitter. He passed away, huh? Oh my gosh. I bought 2 tickets to paradise. I always remember the Eddie Money song, to take me home tonight. I don't wanna wait till day. Oh man, Eddie Money. Wow. Yes, you do, Carol Henson. Oh my god. Listen to this. It's red, red wine. Oh my god. Red, red wine. Unbelievable. I'm going to let this play without comment for a second. This is what I have to deal with, chat. Sigh. Right. So, but okay. So in other words, basically what you mean, Ballstick, is I could hit a hotkey, right? Type away, then hit another hotkey, and then I'd be out of it. Is that what you mean? Like I would, in other words, I could speed up the pace, hit a hotkey, italics, hit another hotkey, and then I'm good. Right? Is that what you mean? Right, I see that, but like, honestly, I mean, I'm going to apologize if this sounds like I'm hopeful. I've been using Microsoft Word for many, many years. I don't even know what a style does, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, what is it? What is the benefit of doing that? But what does that? What does that do, though? What's the benefit of that? I guess is my question. Guess can you beat it? Okay, yeah, I'm curious to hear more. If it can make what I'm doing even more efficient, that would be great. Oh, so in other words, everything that I have highlighted in that particular style, so everything I have highlighted in that particular style, you're saying if I then wanted to change it to bold or I wanted to change it to underlined, I could globally adjust it. I see. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. I think I probably would just do. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think I would probably just do find and replace for that, but I suppose that's really inefficient. Huh. Okay. That's something to think about. Well, that's going to be a whole new method in my head of doing that. Okay. That's interesting. Remember I was just talking about Duran Duran? And I'm hungry like the wolf. There's your Duran Duran. I admit to having a sneaking I kind of like Duran Duran, I have to admit. Sneaking suspicion, just using acknowledgement that I do. Yeah, I was actually. We had an iPad that My wife was just talking about the fact that we're probably going to have to replace, or just get rid of, really, because it won't really connect anymore. It's that whole like planned obsolescence thing. I think my wife is rapidly falling out of love with Apple products. Like she's getting frustrated with her iPhone and all, and I'm like, yeah, I've never been an Apple person myself, but yeah, the planned obsolescence thing is frustrating. Yep. I was talking about that. The hungry like the wolf. We're gonna see it eventually. I do not blame you for being happy, Conrad. I would be happy too. Although, actually, I do have my reward of my donut, which I finished a page, so it's time for a donut. And then we got the George Michael. Conrad, I assume this is not with raisins, right? This is regular cinnamon, yes? I hope. Very good, very good. Well done. Oh my god, they just started playing Cruel, Cruel Summer. Bananarama. Oh my god, this is like literally waking up to my alarm clock at high school. Oh my gosh. You could have added icing. Yes, you could have. Have a good weekend, Henshin. Enjoy the book. Yeah, welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know, I think most of you have seen these before, but I am working on this manuscript, and so people can feel free to ask questions if they like, or not. But I will be interacting with chat here and there when there's things to interact with, but otherwise I'll just be writing away. Typically these are a little bit lower key than some other streams, etc. So, but I like doing this sometimes to kind of give people a window into my process, so that's what I'm doing. I had to stop because of this. This music. This music played the first ever debate tournament that I was top speaker at, and that we won as a Connecticut team, was the Bates College tournament, and it was Halloween. And I remember we were driving up to it. This is when I was in college. Driving up to it, and we were blasting Thriller as we went up there, and then we ended up winning the tournament. And yeah, so I have very fond memories of this song. Although you should never watch the video for this when you're about, 9 years old. You should not watch this video followed by the Wrath of Khan with the scene from the worms that come out of the guy's ears. Not a good idea. Not positive with the whole nightmare thing. Don't. Just letting you know. Yeah, good times. All right, back to The Witcher. I just want to hear a little bit of that. This is good music for this section of the interlude. Yeah. Hey, Ardell, what's up, man? Yes, it is a surprise lunch stream, and I will be here with you for another hour and 15 minutes anyway as I work through this interlude. I'm glad to get back into some Fantasy Fiction Fridays, so it's good. How you doing, man? How's sunny Maine these days? And also, Aradinel, I'm in this undisclosed Starbucks where they've been playing basically my entire high school childhood. We've heard Beat It, Thriller, Like a Virgin, Duran Duran songs, George Michael. It's been crazy. Yeah, The Witcher really is a great soundtrack. Yeah, it's high school for me. By the way, there was some big school news, folks, I was going to mention. Actually, you know what? Remind me to tell you about some big school news about the place where I teach as soon as I finish this page and I'm having my little piece of donut. So give me, as soon as I finish this page, remind me, I'll tell you the story. It's not a long story. $28.8. That's luxury. Yeah, I need to try eating more bass. That's funny. I need to eat more bass on occasion, but I have very little experience with it. I do like salmon though. It's all about the branding, right, Erdogan? If you think about how many foods that we know that were actually failed foods, I mean, like, can you imagine that people go out of their way to buy sour cream? Sour cream. You know? It's failed cream. Raisins, failed grapes. Matzah bread is bread which did not rise, right? So much failed. Blue cheese dressing is moldy cheese. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I know. But matzah bread originally, as I recall, the yeast bread thing was also because they didn't have yeast to make bread rise, as I recall. So they ate it, and this is not during Passover, but was during one of the stories of the Jewish holiday. They actually had bread that did not rise, and thus matzah bread, which became important. And yes, failed wine. That's fair enough. Just failed. The emphasis is on fail. That's all. When it comes to raisins. But I do want to point out, it was because they were feeding the workers cheap stuff, cheap failed fruit. I just want to point that out. Just cheap, just saying. Here, I'll feed you by giving you old crappy grapes. Ah, okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeesh, it's even less appetizing. It's a good question. It depends on how when I get done with it and then start querying it and when it gets picked up. I want to finish this interlude, which is only going to be a few pages by the end of this weekend, and then I want to spend the next few weeks working on the last chapter, the final chapter in the epilogue, then send it off to beta readers, and then get it back and revise it. So I'd like to be ready to start querying it in November, and I want it cleared and basically off my plate in the next month or two, because I want to be focusing on, I don't want any extra writing projects for the next few months, because I want to be able to go to whatever project is going to need my attention. There's 2 projects I can't announce yet, but that are outstanding, that are out in the world, that I may need to talk about soon. There's the possibility of other stuff relating to the Icarus and Jelinek sequels down the line, short stories and stuff like that. So I want to make sure that I'm clear for the next few months while this is going through. So, no, it's a good question. No, I've got the Witcher OST going on here. In the background, I've got, like I said, my childhood, like Madonna's Material Girl, God help me. So, yeah. Anyway. You mean our worlds, 10? You mean our world, yes? One thing that's helpful is to learn things about the world in which there are positives that come out of it, because I often will learn things where I'm like, ooh, that's really cool, that are good things too, you know. I subscribe on Twitter to Positive News UK, which has stuff that always pops up, stuff that I always find interesting. In a world where there's a lot of negative stuff, there's a lot of really cool things that come up too, that I like reading about and hearing about. So, for what that's worth. Oh my god, now they're playing West End Girls. Oh. I see what you're saying. That's funny. That's funny. But see, for me, that particular thing, I actually gained less disgust because I already felt, I already hated raisins. So to me, it just confirmed that I'm like, haha. It's okay, Tobik. Everyone can be wrong about something. Oh, I don't know that I would say that raisins are dangerous, though, Ten. I mean, like, I don't think that's, I don't think I got that from what Aradinel was saying. More that it was a way to sort of, the sort of jelly grapes thing with sugar covered over it. Yeah. Also, there are ways to do it. There are raisins and there are raisins. There are ones that are not as, that are better and ones that are worse, I would say. I mean, I would guess. Not that I'm an expert on raisins, except that I don't like them. But, yeah. You know what's not full of excess sugar? Blueberries. Blueberries are so good. I actually read an interesting article that said that a lot of fruits and vegetables, the reason that people say that they're better for you is that fruits and vegetables actually stress your digestive system a bit. And so what it does is it basically pushes your system to have to develop and become stronger, almost like, working a muscle would. The more that you work a muscle, the stronger it gets over time. Similar thing with the digestive system. Whereas processed food doesn't do that, right? It's easy to digest. It doesn't stress the system at all. Whereas the sort of whole food principle is that your system gets a little bit stressed by it. You process it, and your system is better as a result. Yeah. I used to like celery, but it's just so stringy. I'm just kind of like, bleh. I do like broccoli, though, and they say raw is better than cooked, usually. Steamed is really good. Let me recommend steamed to all of you. Steamed is good. But, because steamed keeps in the vitamins. But yeah, like, I've always liked raw broccoli, carrots, peppers, cauliflower, so... Also, I'm now listening to Love is a Battlefield, yep. I mean, and The Witcher. Okay, so making progress. So I'll have my last bite of donut, and I will tell you all about this update. So I teach in the Division of English and Speech at the College of Professional Studies, which is one of the colleges as part of St. John's University. And you've got College of Professional Studies basically handles the professional majors like journalism, sport management, mass communication, film, things like that, right? Computer sciences. And so, and I've been with them since I first got there. So the president yesterday announced that St. John, or 2 days ago, announced that the College of Professional Studies is being renamed the William H. I think it was the William H. Collins and Lynn H. Collins. I'd have to look at it again. College of Professional Studies, because they just gave the second largest gift in the history of the university and pretty much gave it all to my college. They gave a $10 million gift to my college, which is going to be used to create an endowed chair, and which has been used to create scholarships to majors that happen within my college. So it's basically this huge boon to my college, which of all the colleges in the university has the most students and is doing the best with retention and like engagement and gets the highest ratings and da 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 da. So it's a big deal, and it's a big deal in part because all of that means that they will be able to add more lines, more faculty members, more people along the line, more remuneration. And there's a specific thing happening university-wide, which is going to college-wide, which is going to directly affect me. I can't announce it yet, but it's a very good thing. And so all of that happened basically the last couple of days. So it's pretty awesome. And the thing that's interesting is that the people who gave that money are both graduates of St. John's, and one of them is a graduate of the College of Professional Studies. And in fact, their son also graduated from the College of Professional Studies back in 2007. I don't remember it, but it's possible that I could have had him as a student because I was teaching there by then. And the guy who gave it to them, who's this business guy, whatever, who's been on the board of trustees, when he first came to St. John's, he was the son of immigrants who came there. He was, I think, the first in his family to go to college, and he got a scholarship from St. John's to go there. And he said that made all the difference for him. He had never forgotten that, and so he wanted to basically do the same thing. So when the president came and the new provost came to talk to us in our faculty council meeting last week, they were like, we have a big announcement coming up, and you'll want to be ready for it. And now we know what the announcement is. And the person who is named the endowed chair is our dean, whose name is Dean Passerini, Katia Passerini, who's originally from Italy. The thing about her that I like, though, I like her. She has an earned PhD. She is not just an administrator who's done nothing else but administration. She has advanced degree, and she has a PhD, which I can tell you from personal experience, you work hard to get. There are no lazy PhDs. There are other degrees that you can get without a lot of work. PhD is not one of them. So she's the first endowed chair that has this chair name. So anyway, it was very good news for the school, and the university's definitely had some challenges they've had to work through, as many schools have, but that was a good one. So yes, I now work for the Collins College of Professional Studies at St. John's University. But $10 million as a single gift is no joke. And I can't complain about it, right? Like, an endowed chair is good for the university, and scholarships. I can't complain about scholarships, so. Sign me up for scholarships. There's that announcement. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not easy to get. There are degrees that are relatively easy and that don't require a lot of extra work. That is not one of them. A PhD requires a lot of work. So anyway. And in case you're curious, that is my dean on the right, and this is the president of the university. So. Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool. I was very happy to hear that. Because they were like, this is like a transformational thing. I'm like, really? And I was like, oh, yeah, $10 million is transformational. I would agree. going to one college. It's pretty good. So, and I mean, and my college does work hard. I mean, we do really work hard on engagement, and work hard for our students. And I like the St. John student body. I think I've always talked about that. I really like the St. John student body, and I like the kids that come through that. So that's exciting. And so it's only a very small portion of what the endowment is that they've kind of tried to build over the years, but as a single individual gift coming from the outside, it's a big deal. So the nice thing about the scholarships too is that it's not. Oh God, yeah. The other thing is that scholarship money is, it's not let's build a student center that we don't need. You know what I mean? Scholarships are flexible enough to really help students do whatever it is they want to do within those majors and disciplines. So I like stuff like that because it gives the school more options in terms of where they want to go with it, as opposed to being like, oh, thanks, you're building a building for us. Because like sometimes you just don't need a building, So anyway, yeah. Anyway, there's many causes that are important in the world, and this is hardly the most important of them, but it's a neat thing, and it's someone who has this connection to that as well. So. Yeah, I mean, like, nice, Tobik. Yeah. Like, the thing about it is that, like, physical plant does matter. I showed you all the way that they've redone Marillac Hall, where I do a lot of my teaching. They've made a lot of adjustments. So physical plant does matter. I'm not minimizing the importance of having things make sense, but it's just important to recognize that it's like, that's the easy thing for a lot of people to do. I shouldn't say easy. That's the thing that people default. That's the default thing. They're just like, oh yeah, like, you can just give them money and, like, for buildings. And, like, what they really need is, yeah, they need a comfortable physical plan, but what they really need is money for the best professors. What they really need is support to buy books, support for housing, support for food and resources, psychological support, internships sometimes, study abroad programs, things like that. That's the stuff that they really need. So giving them the ability to use the money for stuff like that, I think, is even more valuable. So it's nothing against physical plant. It's just that shouldn't be the only way you help, is by, like, building some more buildings, And, a university is not going to turn that down if they get a gift to build a big center on campus or whatever. They're not going to turn it down. But, also, like, sometimes renovating buildings. When they built my office now is in the College of Professional Studies, is on the second floor of our library. So they renovated the whole thing. Like, they gutted it, and a couple of years ago I moved into my new office. And they did a great job with the redo of it. That's important. It's just, that's not the only thing. So. What's up, Psychonauts? How you doing, man? Yeah, it is true. The question is, and I was watching the Democratic debate a little bit last night, and that the most important thing now is not even so much access, although access remains important, but it's not as much that as it is critical sifting of the analysis of the information that we get through that access, right? Learning what it is that makes learning the difference between fact and fiction, understanding the context of facts, that's the thing that becomes the most important. It's application and weighing of different factors, not just the pure actual facts. Exactly, Ardeno, exactly. And that's dangerous because it's sort of out of a perspective, in that there's also optimistic news that we don't get as much, but we get, the news that is fed to many, many millions and billions of people, but we're just one person doing our own thing as well. In the one sense, that helps because it means that we understand the connection among all of us. That's very important. But in other senses, it can overwhelm us too, with this sense that there's more going on in some ways that's negative than may actually be the case, at least for an individual on the ground. So, it's subtle. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to this game pretty soon. I'm basically going to be finishing up Day 6 Human Revolution, which will take a couple sessions. Then I'm going to finish up Cat Quest, which should be basically one session, maybe 1.5, and then going back into The Witcher 3. Yes, yes, and that creates a lot of problems. That's why the fight and flight thing doesn't work in an environment where you usually don't have fight or flight to the same degree, So figuring out how to make it more nuanced is important. So. I'm not even replaying it, Tobik. I haven't finished it yet. I only got 75 hours in, so I was only like halfway done. I got more of it to do, and then I've got the DLCs to do, so I got a lot to do on The Witcher still. I'm hoping to get it done before The Witcher 4 comes out. But yeah. Yep. And there's also there's a bit of selective bias, right? Which is in selection bias, I should say, where something happens that's bad, and we just all of a sudden are like everything that happens is always bad, when that's not the case. Now, let me not overstate it. There are definitely a lot of negative things that happen in the world. This is not an argument to say everything's great, right? But the argument is it's also not all despair and gloom, and it's a matter of balancing those things out and understanding where the negative stuff fits in with the picture, and it's not all negative. That's the idea. Right. And so much of what we're facing, honestly, is because of a lack of context. I think that this is the same thing I was talking about with critical thinking and the importance of being able to sift information. The biggest thing that we deal with, I think, is context. It's about teaching context. It's about being able to put what we see into the context of history, into the context of the larger implications of the world around us. That context is so fundamentally important. And what we don't do in education well enough is to provide not only context, but the ability to make connections from one idea to another, from one historical principle to another, from one group to another. So, context and communication, context and connection is not the focus of your daily news. So, yeah. Yeah, critical thinking, scientific memory, and ethical behavior, an ethical foundation. Scientific method, critical thinking, and ethical foundations. Those things together, basically, I heard again the Democrats last night talking about emotional learning, and I'm like, oh my God, yes, please. Emotional and social learning is hugely important. Again, in line with these other things. So. Yeah, I agree with you about Ellen DeGeneres on a lot of levels, yes. Yes, I agree with Ellen DeGeneres, actually. There are a lot of people like that who have made that happen. Popular figures. Jimmy Kimmel is another example of this. Jimmy Kimmel deserves credit. He was a guy who went on there to talk about his son and about the healthcare challenges and didn't get off that subject. Jonathan Stewart. Jonathan Stewart is largely responsible for the 9/11 responders finally getting the permanent health care they should have had 2 decades ago. They got shamed into it finally because of him. So there are numerous examples of people doing stuff like that, and those are real positives. Again, I think you can be proud without being satisfied, and that's the thing. You can be proud of where we've come from, but not be satisfied with it because there's more to do. So. Yep. Right. And let me go further than that. I would say we will have that when we don't have to talk about it because it has become an accepted thing. The problem is that, of course, it is not that way right now, right? Right now, the idea of Pete Buttigieg yesterday talking about the idea of coming out and what it was like for him. It is extraordinary that a viable presidential candidate can now admit that he is gay. And that is progress. It will be even better when we're not in the position of having to make that, a significant part of things, but we are clearly not there. We clearly have very, very long to go. And frankly, a lot of history to overcome to get there. But But yeah, so step by step. What's up, Killbite? Yeah, raisins and lobsters. But that's why we talked about the idea. The idea that we elected Barack Obama and all of a sudden we were in a post-racial society. No, very, very far away from it. But there is movement, and that's what we need. Ardinell, I'd like to say that I approve of your comments here, but I have to say that I don't know that I appreciate your analogy. I don't find the idea that we share DNA with a banana to be particularly appealing. Okay, so who would win in a hypothetical battle between a spider and a lobster, assuming the spider was the same size as the lobster? Like if they were both on land. What if the lobster had a helmet? Like a water helmet. Sorry, sorry, thanks, second note. I'm trying to. That's what it looks like when I just try to window capture Microsoft Word, and as opposed to display capture. And display capture works, but it just captures everything on the screen as opposed to the actual window. So I'm just looking to see if there's a way to capture just Microsoft Word. And a lot of people are talking about this on OBS, actually. Yeah, I'm looking and they keep saying the same thing. It has to do apparently with like the hardware acceleration's like built into Word for some God knows why reason. Man, I wish that they could fix that somehow because it's really obnoxious. I mean, it's workable, but it's annoying. Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? Like, what is the point of having built-in hardware acceleration? Why would that even matter? Yeah, exactly. Oh well, I'll have to stick with that for now, but it's annoying. Yeah, I just don't understand, like, why do you need to, I don't know. But they said it's just a particular thing that, like, requires, that Windows, like, Microsoft Word in particular, like Office does. And they don't know if it's, like, some security reason or it's something which OBS can't work around other than through display capture. Game capture doesn't work either. So, again, what it just means is when you've got limited real estate, that's a pain in the ass to deal with. So, you know, I mean, it's not a big deal, but just If I try to move anything over it, you'll immediately see it because display capture. So see like that. That's interesting, actually. Now we got a little purple ring going on here. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the problem is that. So, what do you mean? You mean like getting basically two laptops? Is that what you mean, Arnaud? Instead of the laptop and a dock? Is that basically what you mean? Because, I mean, my system is getting pretty damn portable at this point. Our Box 2.0 is pretty portable, I think. I have played around with the idea of doing a 2 PC streaming solution in my office to kind of even further take off, weight on my CPU. Not that it does very well right now, but just thinking about would that be the last final frontier for stream quality and stuff. I actually upped my bit rate quite a bit because of my internet continuing to improve, and so I think that's hopefully going to be reflected in the quality of the stream, I hope. Right, yeah. Yeah, it's a matter more of room than anything else. I mean, electrical use, I guess, a little bit, but it's mostly just complications, two things to go wrong instead of one, and it's a matter of space. Like it's just more wires, more things I have to think about that would connect there. But I've thought about it. I've played around with the idea. Hey, what's up, Thord? This is just the Witcher 3 OST, just like standard. And then in Starbucks, you've got Purple Rain. An InWin A1 version 2 ITX. Actually, it's funny you mention that because it just occurred to me that I guess I could use my old ARV box as the streaming PC. I hadn't thought about that. I just worry about... The problem is, though, I need my 3 monitors for... I need the 3 monitors basically for my, gaming, for the actual streaming as it's going on. The gaming, the chat, all that. So I'm wondering if I could use one of those as a stream box and use maybe a switch to jump back and forth, because I don't know whether I'd be able to fit another monitor. But I'm thinking about, I could have another monitor that would just do to the streaming box, so I could monitor that and make sure it's going okay. Because that would be interesting. Because the stream box doesn't need to be... The stream box is not really... it doesn't really need to do much, right? Yeah. Yeah, and I have a switcher too. I wonder... Yeah, but see, the problem is I want to be able to see... I want to be able to keep... Oh, good song. I want to be able to keep my OBS... I want to be able to have my OBS up all the time so I can see it. And that would require me to have a monitor going all the time, because the OBS is obviously running on the stream box. So I would need to get a 4th monitor for that. I don't know. But the stream box doesn't need to be powerful, right? The stream box just needs to push the stream. But other than that, it doesn't need to have anything in it, basically. Just like a graphics card that's simple enough to get it. I could do... Well, I mean, my wife is going to look at me like I have two heads. Like, if I tell her that I got another monitor, I mean, I imagine she'd be like, what, really? The fourth one? But if I had a monitor that just had the streaming part of it, that would be interesting. Like, basically put the monitor up and then move the stuff up there. And so basically, because I have a Elgato capture card, and actually, wait, let me finish the sentence and I can talk to you guys, and I have another 5 minutes or so, and then I'll close it up. Hang on a second here. Oh, this is what I was going to do. Okay, I got to find how Kresk talks. Hold on 1 second. Dude, let me tell you, when you go 3 monitors, you've never gone back. Actually, you know what, Erdanel? Do you think you could find that and link that to me? It clamps to the desktop? Is that true? But I mean, how high does it go, though? It can't go that high, can it? Or can it? Because it just struck me, if all I was doing, because then I would just be getting a monitor and the bracket. But I mean, how tall does it go, though, is the question. Forget about me, I'll be alone, dancing, I know it, baby. It's very strange to have Blood and Wine theme in my left ear, and in my right ear to be hearing Don't You Forget About Me. That's fine. Okay, good. That is 3 pages today, folks. Not bad. Because I'm only going to have a couple more pages I have to do on this interlude. I should be able to finish that by the end of the weekend, so good stuff. Okay. Because now I'm actually, because my birthday is coming up on Monday, and so now I'm thinking, you know, maybe I should do something like that. Let me see. What the hell is this? Vivo Quad... What? Quad LED LCD... Wait. What is this? Wait, so this, like... Oh my god. That's crazy. Actually, but truthfully, I would not need to use any of the extra stands. I would just need, because I have, like, the way it works is I have, you know what we're gonna do? Since I've done this already, this is now saved, and I'm gonna move over to here. Okay, because now I can move this over and take a look. Because, yeah, exactly, Thor, that's what I was thinking. Because the thing is, I have right now, I have my monitor on my left, monitor in front of me, monitor to the right, so I would really just need a stand that would go above, just one single stand that would go above the monitor that I've got, and hold it. Like, the other ones are just on the desk. I don't actually need them mounted, and I'd prefer not to have them mounted, actually. I would just need one that would be mounted to that stand that would sit above these, that would clamp to the back of the desktop like that. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? Yes, exactly, second ops, yeah. Because theoretically, if I did that, because the thing is, I checked my battery system. I actually did a couple of tweaks to it, and it's actually under load. Like I could easily put another thing into that battery. So what I'm thinking now is I put the ARV box down, on the floor. What used to be ARV box 1.0 on the floor. I hook up the battery to the battery backup. I hook up the monitor to... Yeah, I'm just thinking about how to do this. So I hook the monitor up to... Okay, I hook up the monitor to that. That becomes the box that's over here, and that takes the monitor up here, and that takes care of the stream aspect of things. And then the only thing I would need to think about is where my mouse would go, and I would need a keyboard. The problem is I still need a mouse and another keyboard to fit. But I guess since I have a wireless mouse and a keyboard, you know what I could do? I don't know if this is possible. I wonder if I could hook in my wireless mouse and wireless keyboard to a switcher, and then have the switcher go either to my box, my ARV box, my stream box, or my regular computer. Take a look at that. Ah, there you go. Oh, and that's even pretty cheap. That's $30. That's not that bad. For up to 32-inch screens, yeah. Gloria. Interesting. That's interesting. Because it means that I only really have to get the stand and the monitor. So you're talking like $130, because I've already got a mouse and an extra keyboard, and I've already got this extra stuff. It's just a matter of, USB share selector. Oh my god, what is this? Share switch selector, 2 computers staring 4 USB devices, peripheral switcher box, blah blah blah, with 1 button swapping. Oh, okay. So in other words, this hooks into the switcher hooks into both computers. Then you press the button and you're either controlling one computer or you're controlling the other computer. Really? Really? That's pretty slick. So that's $19, $30 for, so it's $49 for the stand and this, and then the monitor, which would be about $130. So it's about $170. Close, something like that. Interesting. That's interesting, because what I might do is I would get my third monitor would probably be my monitor would probably be my monitor that is currently my... I basically have 2 Acers right now, and then I have one Samsung monitor which I got for free from a friend years ago, which I might use as the one that I would actually mount, and then I would get the third Acer would be replacing, because I'll need another monitor regardless. So, interesting. You got a switcher with PS2. I mean, I have an HDMI switcher right now that I use to switch between, for my main monitor, that I use to switch between, like my, Switch / Retron / PS4, whatever, with my main sort of computer system. So it basically has a pass-through with the Elgato. So Interesting. I'm gonna mark some of these. This is interesting. Because basically what it would do is it would take all of the weight off of the CPU on my desktop, which is a good CPU. I mean, it's a good system, but it would mean that I would then not have to worry about any extra, like anything going anywhere. I'd just be able to focus on that. That's interesting. Huh. That is interesting. You know what, Aradinel? Do you think you could do me a solid? Do you think you could take those links that you just put them and could you DM those to me in Discord? Because like yeah, I could save them on here, but it makes sense for me to be doing it on my desktop at home. Because what I might do is I might tomorrow even, I might take a look and think about ordering it, and maybe doing that. Like so, monitor for this. That monitor goes up here on the stand. USB switcher so that I can use my same mouse, my same keyboard. I'm using the same ARVBox, which is just sitting gathering dust at the moment because of ARVBox 2.0. Huh. That's interesting. That's interesting. My wife will still look at me like I have two heads, though. What she's gonna do is she'll look at me and she'll be like, "Do you need this?" And I'll be like, "Well, I don't need it, but it will help, especially because of this, this, and this." And she'll be like, "Will it cost me anything?" I'm like, "Yes, but not a lot because of this, this, and this." And then she'll be like, "Will that come out of your Patreon?" And then I would be like, "Yes." And I'd be like, "Also, it's my birthday." And then she'll be like, "Yes." That's how the conversation will go. I predict this is the way the conversation will happen. Oh my God, what is this link? Good God. 21.9 ultra wide, blah, blah, blah. No, what I would do in this case is I would get another one of my Acers because I have a couple of 32-inch Acers already. So I would just I have 32-inch here, 32-inch here. I would get one more Acer 32-inch there so I'd match them all up, basically. And then I would use the one that I have here, which is not actually a widescreen. I would take that and I would put it up. That would be the one that I would mount on the stand. That is impressive, though. That would definitely cause my wife to look at me like I have two heads. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So, okay. Well, listen, yeah, but would you mind sending me those links, especially to the stand and the a USB switcher via Discord? Would you mind doing that, Aradinel? Would you be cool with that, my friend? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head on out of here because we have wrapped up for the day. I got to go pick my daughter up from school and then spend some time with her, and then I'm going to be streaming Esper Genesis tonight, so you will not want to miss that. This was a good time, though. I got 3 pages done, which may not seem like a lot, but actually when it's a couple hours and I'm just getting like wound back up into it, it actually helps. This is the first time I've gotten back to Fantasy Fiction Fridays, and I will do more of this in the future. Of course, I will continue to come back to it. I do want to wrap up Winnie and Wormwood, as I said, by the end of September. That's my cunning plan. So I want to be able to do that and keep working on this manuscript as time goes on. So tonight we've got Esper Genesis. You will not want to miss it. That campaign has been awesome, and I'm really excited about it. Tomorrow, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD to make up for the missed one that I didn't have last Friday, I think it was, when I couldn't stream because the internet was down. Which, by the way, Optimum has already contacted me and said that they're giving us a credit on my bill. I'm like, too late, Verizon Fios is coming. But anyway, so whatever it may be. So, oh yeah, no, I'm I'm perfectly happy with that. Sometimes I get 5 pages, 6 pages done a day. Sometimes 2, 3. Sometimes 1. So. But I'm usually floating somewhere in the 3 to 5 page range on a session of writing, which is pretty good. Manuscript pages, because I write fairly clean drafts, so it's a good amount of work coming into that as well. But I'm going to head on out of here. No raid today. Tonight, Esper Genesis, so you will definitely want to stop back for that. And thank you all. This was a good time. I hope you enjoyed the Witcher 3 / walk through 80s, memory lane that we had going on in the microphones back here. And thank you for the suggestions, Aridinel. Actually, that's really helpful, and I may think about that further. So, I want to thank everyone for being here and being awesome. Don't forget to follow the channel, check out the YouTube, the Discord, the website arvanelloran.com, the Twitter. Don't forget the shop !ARV shop, the Patreon !ARV and that sub button sitting at 45, 46 subs. So we want to get that north of 50 and get the Patreon north of 300 as we continue to move on throughout the year. So a lot of good stuff happening, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for you all to be here for Esper Genesis as well. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Aridinel, Ten of Clubs, and Thorg. Always a pleasure, everybody. Thank you to my wonderful subscribers, Aridinel, Nonstop, Tobik. Thank you to my viewers, Angel of Light, Commander Root, Ekag, Lichgal Longboard, Jagtris, Jeff Awesome Laser, Lurks, Mubot, I guess, Ramir, Sekanobs, Sekaj, you Christensen, B&K, Virgo Praz, and Zaneki Bear. Thank you all so much. Much love to you folks, and I will see you in a few hours. Be back here by 8:30 p.m. and be ready for some Esper Genesis Space Combat. Otherwise, Fantasy Fiction Fridays will resume on a somewhat more regular basis now, so that will be good stuff. Blocked on Discord? Okay, yeah, you can just IM them to me on Twitch. I don't know why I'm blocked on Discord, but either way. Cool. Thank you very much, Ardenel. Thank you, everybody. Much love, and I will see you lovely people soon. Until then, be good to each other. See y'all tonight.